Welcome back, Trial Tappers. Trial Tappers are people that find hope, resilience, and post-traumatic growth after life's trials and traumas. Today, I'm going to share another video explaining a little bit more about the theory of post-traumatic growth. Now, if you remember in my previous videos, I explained in the theory of post-traumatic growth, there's actually 5 domains of post-traumatic growth. Let me show those to you again. So the 5 domains are personal strength, relationship with others, spiritual change, appreciation for life, and there are new possibilities. So again, these are the 5 domains that were clustered answers from many people that have experienced all kinds and sorts of traumas in their lives. And the first one, I want to explain to you a little bit about personal strength. Now, if you recall, I explained the theory of post-traumatic growth using the theory and the symbolic nature of a maple tree. Maple trees are pretty interesting to me in that you can drill or tap into the maple tree and pull the sap out and turn that sap, after boiling it for many hours, into maple syrup. I also symbolically talk with people and explain that you are like this maple tree. Symbolically, these trees are just minding their own business out in the forest. When a farmer comes and drills into them and hangs these big weights or buckets onto that tree as the sap slowly drips out, and eventually to try to turn that into something else. If you looked into this forest of trees, what you would see is this: they don't just have one tree, and all the trees, many behind it, for thousands of trees, would have their own buckets. Some have 1, some have 2, some have 3, depending on the size of the tree. When I look at this and your personal strength of post-traumatic growth, it can be frustrating when you look at the trials that you're going through. And for sure, when I say trials in life are unique to you, but trials are not unique in life. When you look at this tree, the whole forest, they all have their own buckets or weights holding on to them. When I look at clients that come in to see me, they have a very difficult challenge you're going through, and you may be going through a specific challenge of your own. The theory of post-traumatic growth, after interviewing people that have gone through many trials, such as injuries, illnesses, loss of family members through death, accidents, whatever the trauma you decide is, we found that many of them identified later that they had this personal strength that came from this, from the trial, from the experience that they went through the journey. Eventually, they found more strength. So that was a common theme we heard with a lot of clients. So one of the things I'm going to show is this idea that in the personal strength area, some people reported that they were stronger than they thought they were, and that they believe that they can get through this challenge, they could get through any challenge. We all have gone through our own trials, and I have watched many people in therapy over the last 24 years experience some horrific traumas that many people should not have to go through. I don't know what the personal strength will look like to you, because it's a very personal matter. But for me, it came in the form of when my younger brother committed suicide. It was a very difficult thing for me as a therapist, as I was helping many people overcome some of their trials in life. But like many times as a therapist, sometimes family members just don't want to listen to your advice. After my brother had died by suicide, it was a very difficult week for me to go through. And when I came to the viewing where I was greeting many of the family members, unfortunately, an individual who had sexually abused me between the ages of 11 and 12 showed up to the funeral, and I found myself shaking the hand of this individual. During this experience, I was in shock. I didn't know how to speak. I didn't know how to move. All these memories came flooding back to me. as I was standing there at a very weak state already because of my brother's suicide. After this experience, I ended up leaving the church for a while, went outside. I was just overwhelmed with the trauma that had just happened to me and all the trauma that was coming forward to me. Eventually, I was able to overcome this and go through therapy myself. Now, when I started writing about this and started teaching people more about this in some of the books I've written, I found myself conflicted trying to decide. I could tell people about my post-traumatic growth and only tell them the story about my brother's suicide. Or I could tell them also about the sexual abuse. Now, I was in conflict for quite a while about this, whether I was talking to my family, to my therapist. Like, I can tell people this story about post-traumatic growth and not tell them about the sexual abuse. But I finally came to the realization, and I say it's personal strength to say, this person had kept me victimized and silent for most of my life. And if I continued to allow this silence to continue, then he still had control over me. And I needed to take back my power. So that's how I found personal strength to start sharing this. Now, it wasn't easy. It was very difficult for me to now start telling my family what had happened, my neighbors, my friends, my coworkers, all those that would come and tell me what was happened, what had happened to me. It was difficult to do, but freeing to do it. And since then, many people have come forward to me and thanked me for what I've done and told me their stories. So that's the concept of finding personal strength after the trial or trauma. I hope you found this valuable. And if you found some personal strength in your life, please comment below what strength you found. It really is helpful if you share this video with other people that might be struggling. And if you gave this a thumbs up or subscribe, that would be even better. Look, I hope to share more with you about post-traumatic growth going forward in my next video. Thanks for watching.